Hello everyone, welcome to day 4 of Playpublik. I'm really happy to welcome Chloe and Maria from Athens Plaython, who are going to kick off the first talk about doing a games festival in an economy that's collapsing, which is really interesting, I think, and one special project, P.I.G.S. And then we have a series of talks from very different people from very different backgrounds, from Joburg in South Africa, from Finland, from Budapest, that are going to explore what playing in public means for these very different places and societies. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thanks for coming out, and I'm looking forward to your talk.
Okay, hello, I'm Chloe. Just going to give to you a little bit of background of how this started as an idea, and then Maria's going to take the torch and talk more about a specific game called P.I.G.S. So Athens Plaython was just an idea actually this time last year, and this is a little bit what inspired it. So you guys might have seen these images on TV. So the public landscape in Athens for the last year has been quite interesting. And it's full of things like, demonstrations are something that happens every day, but the emotions, the feelings that one experiences in the public space of Athens are that of, anger and tension, and a lot of conflict. And there are connotations, and for example, Syntagma Square is now a place that, you can go on a Saturday morning and just do your shopping, and meanwhile something might happen like this a few blocks away, but you kind of keep on going sometimes. But so the crisis has really affected all of us in many different ways, and it's become a topic of conversation every day amongst us, amongst our family. It's something you talk all the time. It's kind of unescapable. But there is one thing that we noticed, which was that there is also a need for self-deprecation, so a sense of humor to look at all this, and the need to release. So we kind of came up with this idea to run a festival in those same streets that are usually full of demonstrations and other things, with this logo of keep calm, start playing, and really making fun of ourselves, to just being silly, which you can do with big games. So we had a launch party last year, and we expected around 300 people, and 1,000 people showed up. We did not expect so many people. We invited some of the guys that are actually here, like Cajo from New York and Douglas Wilson from Copenhagen, to play their games and really playtest this idea of having big games in Athens. We really didn't know how it will work out. And we really didn't expect, actually, people to be so willing to be silly and play. It was a great surprise for us. So we were like, okay, great, let's do this. And we started organizing a few other events, trying to build a community, and also doing workshops. So designing big games in Athens is something new. Not many people have done this before. It's like a new idea. And there are many great things about it. One is that it's very empowering, because designing a game gives you this power to design your space, and it's a space of possibility. So what usually is, this space that is full of no possibility, becomes now your space, a space that you look at through a different lens. So this is actually, I just wanted to bring as a brief example, before Maria talks a little bit more about specific games designed for the Athenian landscape, is an event we did called Playpublik with the British Council in this square in Athens, called Kolonaki Square, with kids. So this was a workshop kind of event, and what we did, this is a square nobody goes to. It's like a deserted square in the middle of Athens, and has very different demographics, changing over time. It's not a square you would go and play. So we decided, okay, we're going to do it there. We're going to do this workshop for kids. They will come and build their own versions of Olympic Games for a whole day. And this was a free event, and we expected again like maybe 30 kids, and 80 showed up, which was great. And we had a bunch of volunteers helping us out to do it. And it was really wonderful because you had like kids that were not from like the same neighborhoods, just from all around Athens, coming together to play and make these games. And like all of them, they had of course extreme fun running around, but they were kind of like, oh, we never thought of making a game in the street, and we haven't really played in the streets for a long time, or we just play like around our neighborhood. So there was like a great way for us to look at the community and how games can bring like different communities together, because what's happening in Athens, for example, at the moment is that you have a lot of polarization. So with the crisis, you know, you have all this different opinions sometimes, and again conflicts, and you know, people kind of living in different parts of the city and not coming together. So yeah, that was kind of like the the overall picture. I'm gonna have Maria give you some more specific examples, and then we'll have some time for questions if you guys have some. Here you go.
So good morning from me as well. One idea that we had is that actually the crisis is so important to our everyday life. It's something that you hear 24/7 from everybody, young or old ones, and it has affected everybody. So our first idea is that actually we cannot start a revolution just by playing, because the people that they will be willing to play the game are already on a side that they want to change. So we cannot really work with them. What we want to do actually in Plaython is to help them understand that they can create their own games, they can design. And if they will be able to design a game and understand it as a system, then we have seen that they start to see the system in politics, they start to see the system in their everyday life. And this is amazing, because what they can actually do is they might be able to think about reprogramming it. So, since we have quite a few workshops in Plaython and we ask people to play with us and create games, we had to create a game as well. So I come from the academia. I'm one of those people that talk about games, listen about games. I love observing people playing, but I was completely unwilling to create my own. I was really scared. So what we did is I found 3 more people that they were not scared, and we created a team. We're just newly funded. We are called the Playopticons, and we created a game for Athens Plaython that has a little bit political connotation. I suppose that you're familiar with the term P.I.G.S. The term P.I.G.S, it's very known since 2008, and it is being used to describe Portugal, Italy, Greece and Spain. Sometimes it's with a double I, because Ireland comes in the way, or with a double G, because Great Britain takes the stand. It is being used to describe actually all these countries that they were affected by the wave of crisis, or in other articles that they are the ones to blame for the wave of crisis hitting Europe. What I didn't know is that the term has been going on since the mid-90s, so it's not a new term. But I was actually really interested. To me, for example, it doesn't have a negative connotation, because I love pigs. And to be honest, pigs on the other side, you can play with the word, because you say stop acting like a pig, but at the same time, pig is something that you grow up in order to slaughter. So it's a very powerful word. But the thing is that it actually made me think, what do all these countries have in common? What do they create? Because actually we didn't have anything in common. The way that a crisis affected us, the politics that we have, the way that we try to cope with the crisis is completely different. And what I did, I asked Elena, which is one of the members of Playopticons, and she's a sociologist, and she told me that actually what's going on is that with this term, P.I.G.S, the media create an imagined community, because what they actually do is that they take a symbol, a well-known pig, a well-known symbol, the common pig, and they impose it on a fantastic and imaginary community, creating a new agenda. So I asked Elena, what if this symbol this identity, it's not something that came out of cultural change or something that these countries have decided, and it is something that it's pre-imposed by media. And Elena told me that then we might go to what Goffman mentioned in his work as the spoiled identity, and we can actually even speak about stigma and guilt. And when Elena said the word guilt, I said, whoa, this is something that we experience in Athens. Chloe gave you a very good image of what's going on in the cities of Athens. At the same time, the word guilt plays a lot between the people. The younger feel guilty because they're not able to support their parents. The parents feel guilty because now they cannot provide a supportive network for their kids. And at the same time, everybody feels guilty for the people who voted or for the people who supported while they were not doing their job correctly. So we thought about making a game about that, a game about guilt. But what is actually the idea is that we want to have a reverse engineering, reverse management of the spoiled identity. In our game, everybody is guilty, and they have to cope with it. So we decided that we created a game called actually P.I.G.S. And we needed to have a game that it would be urban. It had to be on the streets because it was all about being outside, being and running around. It's something very common, especially when there is a riot going on or a manifestation. And you have to play with people that you didn't know. Somebody should watch you and give you guidance, and you should lose the power of control. And at the same time, you have to feel that you're being pursued, but pursued at the same time. So it should be a game for many players in the streets of Athens. We would like to have it with smartphones, so it's a locative game. And at the same time, it's really funny because everybody speaks about the crisis and how it affects us, but we all have our smartphones. So you can see the funny part. It's not really funny on that from the start. So P.I.G.S is a game that it's actually for almost 50 different players. It's 4 different types of game with one common mission: to stay in the garden. We created a very simple, I might say naive narrative. We have the idea of the garden, that everybody lives there happily, and you have different kind of animals, and of course the 4th tribe of the playful pigs. Because actually, in a sense, this is how they used to see us before the crisis. Okay, they don't work properly, but they're okay. And supposedly the entire garden is able to be fed because of an apple tree. What happens, of course, one day the farmer comes and announces that all the apples of the amazing apple tree are lost, are gone, and somebody stole them. And without second thoughts, all the animals are just looking at the pigs, saying that, well, you probably did it, but we would like just to help you remain, but we cannot keep all of you. Only one tribe will be able to remain in the garden. And so it's actually after that bit of Hunger Games. You throw them out in the streets, trying to help them maintain the garden. But the thing is that the 4 different tribes have to work against one another, because they actually have to find the guilty pigs of the other tribes. They do have guilty pigs themselves, but this doesn't mean a thing for them. The important thing is to expose the guilty pigs of the other tribes, and they do it by using their smartphone. I'll show you how afterwards. At the same time, there will be QR codes with information about the Apple incident, and I will tell you what's important to us. So there are 4 tribes, and we decided that it should be like Pride, Insolence, Gluttony, because it's going to be a community-based game. The players will choose their favorite. Each tribe has 10 common pigs, 1 street pig, and an Uber pig. And I will explain what this is. The Uber pig is the player that creates the strategy of the clan. He's able to see in a map all the different pigs of every tribe and send information to the common pigs. The pig is the one who is helping and assisting the common so that everything is going okay. And the common pigs are the soldiers. The 10 players of its tribe that they are out in the street with a smartphone, taking photos of other other pigs of other tribes and sending to the Uber pig. And of course, working on the QR codes. Gameplay. Each tribe has 2 secret guilty pigs. Nobody knows about them, not even themselves. You might be a guilty pig and have no idea. Actually, do you have to go and take photos and send them to the Uber pig, and Uber pig will actually be able to say that, okay, this player is up. But when one guilty pig is photographed and this player means that he cannot play anymore, and if both pigs are out, then the tribe loses.
See if we can get the microphone to work.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Test. Well, let's replace it. Yeah.
So he will take all the information regarding the exposed pigs and try to write down who lost in order to help maintain his own tribe in the garden. What's extremely important to us is to see how, if they're going to stay in the rules of the game or they will try to cheat. Because the game is about being guilty. It's amazing that they didn't try to cheat even though they could. And we asked them, why didn't you do it? And they said, well, we've already cheated. So it passed politically, and we decided that we should play the game properly and win. But it's very important for us to see what will happen with the actual. So this is the application. So far it's on your iPhone. You just have to shoot and send. You can shoot the QR code and see the entry, and at the same time you can see your location and your team's location. The location of the other teams is being. Yeah, the location of the other tribes cannot be seen by the street pigs, so they have to listen to the information that the Uber pig provides. Up to now, as I've told you, we've only had the application for iPhones, but we're preparing for everything. We've already have a working website and with a P.I.G.S forum and a Facebook page, because for us it's very important for the players to create their own tribes, choose their favorite scene, and have some, let's say, hostility between them before the actual game. So, apart from inviting you to play P.I.G.S, that's why I didn't reveal many information. In Athens, I would also like to invite you to Athens Plaython. It's going to be on the last weekend of this September. We believe the weather is going to be amazing to play games. What I haven't told you is that we actually had an open call, and new designers or people that have never designed games before sent us many games. So apart from games from professional designers, we have amazing games by people that were not aware that they could actually design their own game and see it played in the streets of Athens.
It's actually, just to double on that, it's amazing how we have games for people who are like a psychologist, for example, like a teacher, a kid that's like 40 years old, you know, like people that really don't identify themselves as designers or like in the world of like technology or something like that. The other thing is, I forgot to show the image of our volunteers. So what happened to us was that we started in September, just basically me and a friend of mine, and then we did this launch event, and we had like 30 people as volunteers. I don't know how they found us, but all these people started writing to us and saying, you know, like I don't have a job, like I don't have some stuff to do. I'd love to help out. This is like a nice concept, and we ended up having 30 volunteers. And then Maria and Tanas also, like from our volunteer community, joining us as full members of the group. But having 30 volunteers who are really dedicated, they come to all our events and they help us. So it's a lot about community in that sense, and really seeding a community of people that think that can design their own games and participate in this. So yeah, that's it.
We do have time for a couple of questions. Are there any direct questions? Okay, so I have one. Are you getting any kind of government support right now in Athens, and or are there any other organizations that are helping you financially?
This makes this idea the worst possible idea. The worst timing, because it's impossible to get any funding. And yeah, of course, we don't have any government support whatsoever. Our only supporter so far has been the British Council, and there seems to be support for the educational side of things. So that's why half of our festival is also like dedicated to workshops. So people, again, because we have this community of people that are not game designers, it's important to support them in designing their own games. But yeah, to answer your question, no government support at all.
But even like non-financial support?
No, probably indifference is like the best. We also had like a lot of elections. I don't know if you guys know. We've been having elections constantly the last months, but so people in office have changed. But I mean, from like the office of the mayor to other like governmental cultural institutions, there hasn't been really any support. The support we have gotten is from local communities such as like the TEDx community in Athens, which is quite active. They supported us a lot, and then the Greek Kickstarter and the community, but that's about it actually.
Any more questions? Great. So then I'd say we continue directly with Shamu.